Hi everyone, my name's Mediator and welcome to my first ever Mechabellum replay commentary video. A little bit of background, been playing the game for about a year and a half now, not quite. Been sitting around top 100 for about the last month or two. Tend to have a more defensive and standard playstyle compared to a lot of the other content creators and streamers that I watch, so I thought this content might be useful for some people looking for some more insights to that side of the game. Yeah, so without further ado, I'm going to jump into the replay I want to show, which is against none other than Rooster himself. Shown as expired, because there's been a patch out today, unfortunately. And it does break round 1, so I'll skip straight into round 2. Couple of packs I could choose here, either Elite Spec with the Arc Lights and Sledges or Training Spec with Arc Lights and Steel Balls. Go for that because I don't really like playing Elite Spec with no chaff, and definitely not against Rooster, who's a bit of an elite specialist himself. Steel Balls can be okay in standard to start with, tend to fall off once you get into the mid game, but you can get some nice cell tempo out of them. Can do a little bit of work in the early rounds. As I say, round 1's broken. Doesn't do Rooster's deploys, so I'm just going to jump straight into round 2. Like that, do a quick pause. Went with a standard / defensive setup on the right hand side of the board. The idea being the steel balls. If Rooster sets up on the other side of the map, the steel balls have got straight access through that tower, get a little bit of tower pressure, versus over here they'd have to get through that wall first and they'd probably do nothing until it was too late. Fortunately, we got the right side defensively. Round 1 got some good chaff clear going. Steel balls managed to get the locks and we did a little bit of chip damage. Round 2, unit reinforcements show up. Couple of good options here. Stormcallers could be viable, quite good into the fangs, quite good into the tarantulas, tend to splash onto the void eyes as well, but as I'm facing an aggro push, doesn't give them as much time as I'd like for them to do their work. Don't need the hounds, we're already into Arc Lights for chaff clear. Phantom Rays and Wasps both give us some anti-air. Wasps do tend to win that matchup, and I'm a bit of a Wasp enjoyer. Let's start this playing again, so I'm going to end up picking the Wasps here, and I think Rooster does the same as well. Round 1, this Arc Light on the tower ended up getting stuck on that tarantula before clearing all the fangs, so I'm going to add another Arc Light here. 8 spaces between the tower Arc Light, gives you some nice spots to fit in some giants as the game goes on. Put the Wasps on the left hand side, the idea being that hopefully survive until the end, possibly get an air cheese depending on what's left on the board. Put some chaff next to this Arc Light just as a little bit of defense, make sure nothing can insta-lock it. And some chaff next to the Wasps as well. Just get with sort of first line of chaff, second line of chaff, get that set up nice and early. Let's see how this plays out. Chaff clear here is looking much better than round 1. All the fangs are going down. Steel balls are getting locked onto the tarantulas quite nicely. Left hand side, a bit more of a struggle. The Wasps are DPSing down the steel balls before they can do anything. Do manage to get a lock with our last steel ball on this tarantula, but unfortunately Rooster's Wasps start chewing through ours, and that will result in us getting a loss by default. Other than that though, pretty happy with the round. Winning the ground war at least. Just need to do something about this next round. I think those Wasps do pick up a level as well. Some interesting options here. I've been playing a lot of Worm Wasp recently. Been enjoying it quite a lot. Nano repair kit, excellent option on worms. So I kind of pick that up. The idea being put it on the steel ball for a round or two, make it a bit more tanky, and look to transition that into a giant later on in the game. Add another pack of wasps here to contest this pack of wasps, and a further pack of wasps on the left as the wasp swarm was offered. There's a little bit of defense against that. The idea being these wasps will try to cross if it's anywhere over here along with these ones, and should hopefully cover against any early tower debuffs. Level up this arc light which had the XP. That should be about it for the turn. Rooster did go for the wasp swarm, uses it on the left hand side, his right is a bit of defense, levels up his wasp, I think just adds a few more packs of chaff. For me, I should probably look to range the arc lights next turn, keep them nice and safe, get them chaff clearing a bit sooner. Rooster's already ranged his tarantulas, so I should do a pretty good job of clearing through the chaff now. Let's see how this plays out. Again, arc lights on this left hand side here, and the wasps look like they're doing pretty well. Newly added wasps on the right hand side seem to be doing a good job as well. I think I used the intensive training on them as well to give them a bit of an edge against Rooster's potentially leveled up wasps. Left hand side, our wasps do lose to the wasp swarm, but there's only 4 of them left, and everything we've got here should clear up nicely. Wait for all this to finish. Good thing about wasps as well is they do tend to level up most of the time. So we've got levels available if we want them, or at least the level 1 pack. Reinforcements cards here, both of us choose heavy armour. Great item on a steel ball. Ideally this would have been the one that would have leveled. Level 2 steel balls with heavy armour. Quite tanky and can be a bit annoying. As I said before, we range our arc lights this round, get them doing their job a bit quicker, and leaves us a bit strapped for cash. Just pick up the levels on the wasps where we've got them. As I said, idea being potentially going to Worm Wasp, and just pick up a few more chaff packs. One on the left here to keep this arc light safe, and another one behind this one here just in case there's any deep flank pulls. So if some units went in the corner here, a lot of this could be pulled across. That tends to leave anything on this side. You only really have those 9 crawlers there acting as your chaff, which tends to not be enough. I like to put an additional crawler behind this arc light just so that if anything does appear in the deep flank, keeps it safe. Now, the thing about wasps and wasp carry is that 40A exists, and it tends to just annihilate it. And unfortunately for my plan here, that's exactly what Rooster does. Picks up Fortress, goes Fort AA. Now, I did watch back on Rooster's stream after this match, and he said he thought I'd overcommitted to the wasps. I don't think at this stage I had done. There's no text on them. I got one of them from a unit drop, so I've only actually used 2 deploys. This one over on the left is excellent flank defense. This one was from the drop, which only leaves this pack here that I've bought that isn't really doing anything, and I've not teched into them yet. Next round, if I'd picked a tech, maybe range, well, almost definitely range first, then yes, probably an overcommitment. But I think this is too early for the Fort AA, because it gives me a chance to pivot out into a different unit. So my initial plan of going Worm Wasp is out the window, but I'll just have to find, I've got the arc lights for chaff clear, just need a different form of DPS. probably Melter. Generally has a pretty good matchup into Fort. Again, with Proviso sort of chaff clear and getting the locks. So we'll have to see if our Steel Ball can get through and get the lock this time and get the job done, and then look to transition out of the Wasps into something else in the next round. Steel Balls do get a lock, but unfortunately this fortress with the heavy armour is very, very, very tanky. So they get some damage done, but not enough, unfortunately. Now it just starts eating through the rest of our board. Get the tower debuff, see if this remaining level 2 wasps and these 2 arclights can get enough damage done. Even with the debuff, that's the rest of the wasps gone. Speed this up a bit. Get another debuff, but there's nothing to do any damage. Wasps finally make it across just as the fortress gets the tower, and they get annihilated. And looks like the fort is going to clutch the round. And luckily for me, normally I'd be very happy to get the Sandworm for Worm Wasp, but as we're going to be pivoting out of that, being offered the Melting Point, absolutely fantastic. Counters the Rhinos, counters the Wraith, sort of counters the Worm, kind of a no-brainer really. Going to position that on the right hand side, directly opposite this fort, hopefully get a lock. Another one on this side, because we're expecting another fortress to come up to target this pack of wasps right here. Instantly go range to keep them safe. I should probably sell out of this Steel Ball and transition. There we go. The Nano Repair Kit onto one of the melters. With 300 left over and an intensive training from the training spec, I look to level up this melting point and add some more chaff somewhere. Rooster, meanwhile, has picked up his second tech on the fortress. And this is sort of what I meant where I said I'm not sure if I had committed too much into the wasps. So he's paid 200 to unlock the fortress. He's paid 200 for the anti-air barrage, which I'm going to be selling out of the wasps at some point. It's not going to achieve anything. And it's made the rest of his techs 200 more expensive. So second tech here is the new solid shot. Increases range by 60. Adds some attack interval and decreases splash range by 2. So now with 160 meters range, that fortress just outranges the melter. It's starting to look a little bit scary. With the possibility of elite marksmen turning up as well, could end up at quite a bit of a range disadvantage as the game goes on. So ideally, we'd look to get some tempo. Try and close this one out relatively quickly. Now it just kind of comes down to, as a lot of games of Mechabellum do, clearing chaff well enough to get the locks on with your big DPS units. Melter on the left here gets a tarantula nice and quickly, very happy about that. Chaff clear situation on the right seems to be going quite well as well. Melting Point starts walking forward, should hopefully get a lock onto the fortress soon. Minus 50 from the missile over on this top left as well, quite happy about that. Just have to see how this goes. Nano Repair Kit doing a good job of helping keep the Melting Point alive. This Melting Point gets a level from the fortress. And a very happy looking round there. Reinforcements, some more great items here. Efficient giant manufacturing could be okay. Realistically, I'm probably only looking to add another 1, 2, 3 melting points at this point. At which point I'd only break even on the card, so probably not worth going for. Another Nano Repair Kit could be quite nice on the other melting point. But also, Absorption module shows up, which potentially saves me teching into energy absorption. And just adds a nice, really cheap bit of extra tankiness onto the melters. I spend a little while deciding between that and Efficient Giant, but eventually I end up picking the Absorption module. Put that on the other melting point. Rooster went for the missile strike. Nice easy kill on this pack of wasps and crawlers. Might cause a little bit of issue with some like chaff coming through, but I'm not too worried about that. Meanwhile, for the rest of my turn, to probably pick up the level on that arc light, at least the level on this level 1 melting point. Spotted that chaff clear was a bit of an issue last round. Decided to add some oil this round, slow everything down a bit, give my arc lights a bit more time to do their thing, and yeah, hopefully keep my melting points safe for a little bit longer. Mentioned the elite marksman before. Rooster does indeed take it, so now he's sitting 15 meters range on his level 2 fortresses, better than my melting points, so that could be a bit of an issue. Add a fang pack in front of this level 2 melting point here, just in case, to avoid any insta locks. And bit of a misplay in the top here. Notice that there was no real anti-air in this top corner of the board, only a level 1 tower. Thought I might be able to sneak in a little pack of wasps outside the range of the Fort AA, maybe get a nice easy tower debuff. Spoiler alert, doesn't work out. I tried to finesse the beacon so that the wasps avoid the Fort AA and still get the tower. Doesn't work on either front. They still get hit by the AA and they don't target the tower. So that's a bit of a don't do that if you try and do that at home. Waste of 200 supplies and a deployment, but we were relatively ahead in the rest of the battle, so hopefully we can get away with it. Add an additional pack of crawlers here just to get some second wave of chaff to keep this arc light safe, and that's us out of money for the round. Oh, what did we sell? Sold something. Picked up a level on that arc light. This new fortress and this pack of chaff here doesn't really have a proper answer. We'll need to add another arc light to sort of finish that off. You can see this wasp pack here flying along nicely, still somehow gets hit by the Fort AA and just sails past the tower into the second Fort AA, so that didn't go very well. Fortunately though, this level 3 melting point over here looking very tanky, and this energy absorbed melting point's got a lock on the fortress, and the other fortress should pretty much be unkillable at this point. Allows us to take another round win. Reinforcements this round. Did mention before that with elite and solid shot, this fortress is now sitting 15 meters range, better than my melting points. Fortunately, with laser shites showing up, this will be a pretty much insta pick for me there. Very useful on another melter. Help give us a little bit of extra range and hopefully keep safe of any problems with forts getting locked on before we can do any damage. Also decided to pick up EMP Barrage as the second tech on the melters here. Has 180 meters range, so it can still lock onto the fortresses before they're in range of the melting points. Hopefully take out those techs, and then they're just sitting ducks. Add another arc light next to this melting point here, just to take out that pack of fangs, help it get locks on the tarantula and the fort. And this is one of the things I do like about arc lights. They don't scale fantastically into the late game, but they are very cheap, so you can put them down as needed. And they only need one tech to kind of do their job. Once they've got range, that's it. You don't really need to tech anything else on them. It does make them a very cheap form of chaff clear, which allows you to focus on the rest of your board, or the resources on the rest of your board. This left-hand tower has been sat unloved for a while. Kind of a common theme when you're facing an aggro push is at some point you're going to start facing some threats on the other side of the board. And sort of with a deep flank here, there are sort of two diagonals that could be pushed into quite easily. So at the melting point with the laser sight on this side, partly to defend against any kind of pushes that could come, and partly just so if the end of the round comes along, these two melting points lose to the fortresses. Hopefully there's no chaff left on the board. I've got this melting point here with more range than everything else. Hopefully this can then just sit and safely snipe any of the remaining fortresses. Could also sold out this wasp on the top left because that was doing nothing. Could also have made a play to set this oil on fire, but didn't really feel like I had the deployments to do it this turn. Rooster makes a very good play here, as I've been selling out of wasps and not investing into them at all. Don't really have any anti-air apart from the melting points, but it takes melting points a long time to chew through a pack of wasps, so that's probably going to cause some problems this round. Hopefully, well, the melting points will clear them eventually. As to whether or not they can clear them in enough time to get through to the fortresses as well, we'll have to wait and see, especially with the wasp swarm getting stacked on this side as well. Could be a bit of a problem. Temp range getting taken this round as well. Rooster's loaning, I'm not yet, so a bit of an economic advantage. Temp range very important in this stage of the game, just to make sure you can get your locks as early as possible. Devastating missile here, taking out nearly 2 full packs of chaff. Not too happy about that. But yeah, as I was saying, wasps here, absolute pain for the melting points to deal with. Taking forever to chew through them. Not getting the locks on the tarantulas, certainly not getting the locks on the forts. This means the forts have killed all of the arc lights. Melting points now are stuck shooting crawlers. Might even get debuffed by the crawlers here. No, I do manage to chew through them, but unfortunately 2 fortresses and 2 tarantulas still on the board. We'll have to see if this melting point can outrange the fortress. Unfortunately, this fort here also got a laser sight and absolutely destroys that melting point under the debuff. But it was only really a problem caused by the wasps, so nice easy answer to that one. Should just be some Mustangs. Additional deployment slot here, very useful to get those said Mustangs onto the board. Nice easy pickup. Elite recruit them on level 2. These are going to kind of serve 2 purposes. Going to chew through the wasps, help the melting points get the locks on the big targets, help chaff clear the fangs and the crawlers, because shielded fang could be a bit of a problem as well. Takes arc lights a long time to chew through them. And then once all the chaff clearing's done, they've got less range than the melting points, so they should walk in front of them, and with solid shot and the associated decrease in splash range, take the fortress a long time to get through all those Mustangs. Rooster here, leveling up the forts, goes for subterranean blitz on the crawlers, gets them in quicker, makes them a lot more tanky. Especially with, I suspect he was thinking Mustangs were going to turn up at this point. It means Mustangs take a lot longer to get through them. Arc lights with levels, not too bad. The extra speed does help them getting quicker. Think a bit of a misplay here. Didn't like that missile last turn. Had 200 supply left over. Put down a couple of missile interceptors just to make sure we didn't lose instantly all the frontline chaff and get any insta locks. Don't think it was really necessary. Didn't know what else to do with the money. Mustangs here, doing a great job of chewing through the wasps. Helping with the chaff clear. Yeah, everything's looking a lot more solid this time. Melting points getting the locks on the tarantulas now. Walking through to the forts. Loads of Mustangs still acting as frontline chaff. EMP barrage fortunately hits this fortress on the right, which was just about to kill this nano repair melter. And just one fortress at the laser sight left. much better round, taking an opponent down to 600 HP. At this point, unit reinforcements turn up. Nothing particularly interesting here. With the Mustangs and Arc Lights, Chaff Clear is kind of covered, so don't really need the Fire Badger or the Hounds. Level 4 Typhoon, always good, but don't really need it for anything. And notice that there's a bit of an opening on this tower here. There's the Fangs defending it and an Arc Line that's level 2, but it's basically open. With how convincingly we won the right hand side last time, pretty unlikely there's going to be much reinforcement happening over here. So eventually decide to pick up the 2 rhinos, go for a little bit of a play on the left hand tower. The idea here being we're very healthy. If it doesn't work out, we should probably still have enough health to survive. And it's a problem. Well, if we don't win the round, we should have enough health to survive, and it's a problem Rooster will have to answer next turn. If it does work out, should get us a nice easy tower debuff, and make winning on this side even more crushing. So we have the 2 rhinos, missile interceptor just to make sure they don't get slowed, pack of wasps behind them just for an additional threat. Slightly worried about the same thing from our opponent here. Our left hand side tower is looking relatively open on this diagonal, so add a second melting point in here just to cover that off. Opponent has missile strike back. Really can't afford to be losing any packs of Mustangs because of how long it takes the melting points to chew through the wasps. I have to spend a lot of money on shields here, just keeping them safe. There is said missile strike. Opponent here decides to go for some scorching charge badges. They are very annoying. They are good chaff clear. Don't think they'll make that much difference. Just a bit of a Hail Mary, I guess. And Farseers for photon coating, just to stop. I'm going to pause it there. Kind of scorching charge badges almost working against Rooster here, I think. Doing a lot of damage to his own crawlers, and this tower completely undefended. Rhinos run their way in. And it's just going to allow us to crush the rest of the round. Could have been, without that Rhino charge, I think maybe a little bit of a danger of getting debuffed here. So quite glad we went for that play. But with 4 melting points and loads of chaff left on the board, that just should be game. Go. So yeah, was very happy with how that match turned out. Played Rooster in another couple of games beforehand, and he'd absolutely annihilated me every single time. Never thought a year and a half ago that I'd ever get to the kind of level where I'd even be sort of playing against these kind of people. So I was very happy with how that worked out. So yeah, as I say, this is my first ever video. Hopefully you found it informative. If there's any comments, suggestions, any improvements you think I could make, please leave them in the comments below. I'll try and get back to anyone that does comment. Feel free to like and subscribe, that would be great. And hopefully I'll be back with some more videos in the future. Thank you.